Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by the Hockey Think Tank community, a place for all passionate parents, players, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. And actually, in the Hockey Think Tank community, we try to bring on an awesome guest once a month. And the guest that we have on our podcast here today has done our Hockey Think Tank community call already, and it is 7-time Stanley Cup winning coach Barry Smith. Barry has won multiple Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Detroit Red Wings, and the Chicago Blackhawks. Coached the likes of Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Ron Francis, Steve Yzerman, Sergei Fedorov, Nicholas Lidstrom, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, Marian Hossa, Duncan Keith. Can we name more Hall of Famers? Yes, absolutely we can. We're leaving a lot off the table that Barry has coached, but an unbelievable wealth of knowledge. Barry traveled to Chicago a couple weeks ago, and we worked with some youth hockey clubs here in the area. And we got to sit down with him at my house. I shouldn't say we, it was just me. Sorry, Jeffrey. Got to sit down with Barry at my house and pick the brain of honestly one of the smartest hockey people on the planet. Talk about a guy who's won 7 Stanley Cups, and what Barry is doing right now. He's traveling all around the world, giving back his hockey knowledge, expertise, and experience. And he's become a mentor to me. He's become a mentor with me. I've traveled to a bunch of different spots with him. It was really cool to get him to Chicago here, to work with coaches here in Chicago. And just an unbelievable guy. This was such a phenomenal conversation. Before we do get over to that conversation, though, let's bring on the talent of the podcast, the one Jeffrey J. Hulavecchio. Vex, what's shaking today, man?
What's up, my dude? I'm just buzzing, bro. I am doing everything I can to get this new massive gym that I'm unveiling here in about a month and a half done. I don't know why I thought this one would be easier than all the other ones when this one is way bigger than any gym I've ever done. I have no idea why I thought that, but yeah, it's nonstop right now. Not complaining whatsoever. Absolutely loving it, but it's a lot trying to get that going while I got everything else going right before the off season hits here, so I can get all the gyms. And I think I gave a presentation to a company 2 weeks ago and tallied up the amount of players that my company is going to be training here locally next year, excluding my high level guys. This is just like local kids, and it's over 2,800, which Ooh. Is it's I started with two. So it's really, really, really cool. But just excited to get all that crap done and get everything in. Next week's gonna be a big week with equipment and flooring and all this stuff. So really exciting times, man. Yeah. How about you?
Very, very cool. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, Jeffrey.
Hey, thanks, dude.
See, Jeffrey's talking about it right now, but what everybody doesn't understand is how much work this dude does to make sure that stuff like this happens, and the why behind it, to make sure that every kid right now in St. Louis, but it will expand further than St. Louis in the future, can have the opportunity to be the best version of themselves, man. I'm proud of you. As your older, really, really old, so much older than you, cousin.
Saggy balls,
I'm
old
proud
skin.
Of you.
Thanks, Gramps.
Really, really cool. Really, really
Thank
cool.
You. Appreciate you, man.
We got some things moving and shaking here with the Hockey Think Tank as well. And
baby.
So we are getting ready for our blueprint season for next year. And so we worked with 16 different youth organizations this year, everything from prep schools out east to local community to tier 1, and all over the place. We're talking Western Canada, Alaska, Eastern United States, middle of America, all different shapes and sizes. It was such a blast, and it's a lot right now. It's just a lot of time for reflection and retooling what we did. And we've learned so much from the clubs that we worked with this year. And so, we feel like we can be a huge value to youth organizations at the end of the day. And the relationships that we've been able to build with so many people in the youth hockey landscape, it's been awesome. And one of the things, I know we have a lot of parents that listen to this. We also have a lot of people that that are running youth hockey clubs. Like, we actually have put together a referral program, so you can actually refer your youth hockey club to us, and we'll put this in the show notes, or you can go to our website. It's on there, but you can refer us to your club. And we've been having already so many awesome conversations with youth hockey clubs all over North America on being able to be a part of what they're doing next year, and being able to help them to solve some of the problems that they have, and create solutions, and provide our insight and perspective. And with this blueprint, we work not just with club leadership, we work with the parents, we work with the coaches, we work with the kids on life skills. And so, man, like, if you want to get involved with us in whatever capacity, if you trust us and think that what we do is providing positivity to the youth hockey world, we'd love to have a conversation with you. So shoot me an email, or go to the show notes and refer your club to us. And hopefully we can work together in the future, man. But I'm just like, I'm so grateful. I'm so excited for where this thing is going, man. And both of us, I feel like, are in the same spot. Like, we've put in so much work and so much effort to try to make a positive impact. And this is just the next phase for us, in continuing to make the footprint even bigger, and to make an even bigger impact. So really, really cool stuff, dude, to say the least.
Man, so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
So freaking quick. It's so funny. Like, I'll talk to like youth clubs here and like things that they have going on, and they'll ask me questions, and I'm like, dude, my cousin goes over all of this in the Hockey Think Tank Blueprint. Like, it's like every question they ask, I'm like, this is literally what my cousin does. Like, reach out to Toph. Like, he will make this so much easier for you in every sense of the word.
Well, one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, man, is just like being true to what youth hockey is, and really helping. It is so confusing in so many different capacities, and the youth hockey landscape is always changing. And a lot of times those changes are ones that parents are like, what the frig is going on? And program directors are like, what the hell do I do? And so, yeah, just being able to provide that perspective and work on the ground level with clubs, it's been such a fun experience for us, and to see some of the impact that we've been able to make on every level of it, right? We see a youth club in 4 pillars. You got your club leadership, and then you have your parents, your coaches, and your players. And so being able to do that is really good. And kind of moving off of that, looking to the podcast of what we did here with Barry, dude, guys, like, this is quite possibly the smartest hockey person you will ever listen to. This is a guy that has won 7 Stanley Cups as a coach. This is a guy that he was Scotty Bowman's right-hand man for so many years in his Stanley Cup runs. Got to coach the likes, again, like, how many Hall of Famers this guy has been able to coach. But on top of that, like, one of the most decent and good human beings in the world. And so, like, just everything from culture and tactics and how to deal with players, and then the stories that he has about some of these big time people too. Like, this was a special one for me. And obviously getting the chance to do it live in person with him, it's always more fun when you're not doing it over a computer screen. But then, like, getting the opportunity to see Barry in action. And I think I said this on a previous podcast, but we opened up like a coaching seminar. We did it at Team Illinois' rink, and Team Illinois, thank you to them for opening up their doors to us, and providing the players. And we invited coaches from all over. Anybody can come. And we had a bunch of coaches come and got to watch Barry actually run a practice. Right. And so we had the coaches in to do like a little seminar before the practice. This is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. This is why it's important. And then being able to watch Barry and watch him communicate with the kids on the ice. And then we did a debrief afterwards over some snacks and some beers. And like, it was just so much fun. And I obviously get to see it a little bit more than other people do because of the relationship that I've built with him. But like, just a great human being, obviously a phenomenal hockey person. And I think you guys are going to love this episode. Like, this was big time, man.
So cool. So cool.
Sorry, Vex, you're not here.
You're not. I'm not attractive. You're good looking. I'm stupid. You're smart.
Happy Gilmore. Oh, by the way, Happy Gilmore 2, the trailer out. Did you see it?
No, I need to watch. As soon as we hang up, I'm watching it. I know.
Seen that. Jeez,
Bro,
Louise.
I literally have not stopped. I'm either on the computer training somebody or at the new facility doing stuff
On your way to Detroit?
dadding. Yeah. Back down. Yes. it is like right here. And then anytime I'm not doing that, I've got baby girl in my arms, giving her 1,000 kisses a day. By the way, as a dad of 3 daughters, very quickly, can you kiss your daughter too much? Like when I'm holding her, I'm literally like, my daughter so much. Like, is that weird? Is that too much?
Well, my oldest Paige, she's like, she thinks it's weird now. So if like I try to give her a kiss on the cheek or whatever, it's like, Daddy.
I'm too
Sometimes
old for
she's
that.
okay with it. Sometimes she's like, Daddy, what are you doing?
Okay,
Like,
Sophie can't talk yet, so I guess I'm still good. Okay.
Yeah, Sophie is what, 6-7 months years old. I think you're okay for a couple years anyway.
Just making sure.
So, but yeah, Barry's the man. Before we do get over to Barry, though, we do have some people to thank. First, we want to thank our title sponsor, icehockeysystems.com, the best website out there for all your coaching education needs. Thousands of drills. They got whiteboard explanations from really high-level hockey people. Ability to go in and draw your drills up and send them out to your team, or actually create a drill library for yourself. We have partnered up with them to do an associations platform where you can get this for every single coach in your organization. Unbelievable. And I think really, honestly, one of the biggest value adds with that is you be able to build an entire club library where you can build practice plans and have drills that coaches can share with each other. And then they can use it, especially for the coaches who are 9-to-5s, who are, coming from work and having to pick up their kids and maybe don't have the opportunity to sit down for 15, 20 minutes that day and put a practice plan together. You can do that for your coaches. So go to icehockeysystems.com today, look up the associations tab and do it.
Want to say thank you to Train Heroic. Guys, dropping the off-season program right meow. If you're listening to this, the off-season program is out. It's a 20-week off-season program. However, you can start it whenever you're ready, and all you have to do is reach out to me via the app. When you sign up, you can DM me and just say, hey, Jeff, I'm starting June 1st. And I'll say, hey, Toph, when is your first practice or when is training camp? You tell me what that date is, and then I'll tell you exactly how I want you to kind of change up that calendar. But I'm doing it for the lowest price I have ever done it. And there are some really cool features that you can sign up for individual calls with me too if you're doing the online training this off season. So I'm just really trying to find any possible way that I can to add as much value to every single player that trains with me online. So a lot of cool stuff happening this summer that I've never done before, and Train Heroic has allowed me to do all that. So those will be on my website, gmbm.com, where you can sign up for the off-season program, or you can go to my Instagram, find it there. So thank you to Train Heroic for making that all possible.
There you go. Boom. Want to thank Helios Hockey as well. And Helios is a product that you put into it's a sensor that you put into your shoulder pad and gives you real-time data and feedback on everything from your stride length, stride mechanics, to what they love to call a hustle score, which is awesome for the kids. They absolutely love it. So every time you move on the ice, this thing lights up, and it also pairs with whatever video you're using, iPad, iPhone, Live Barn, regular camera, and you can get this directly when you're done with your game. You can get your shifts cut up. Unbelievable, especially if you work with like a video coach as well, or you're a coach that does video with kids. Like imagine having that and not having to cut it up.
Game changer.
Game changer just in that, right? And so go to helioshockey.com today. And if you use the coupon code ThinkTank, one word, you will get 20% off your pro annual or your pro 24-month subscription. Or you can go to helioshockey.com/teams and get this for every kid on your team. We just actually had a big conversation with the Helios Hockey guys a couple weeks ago, and they are going to the moon with this thing. Like talk about innovative, talk about like creative, like these guys are providing value to the hockey world, bar none. So go to helioshockey.com today and use that coupon code ThinkTank, and you can see for yourself. Also want to thank Crossbar. They've re-upped with us again for a lot more episodes. And again, go to crossbar.org and check them out. But what they are is they are a company that works with your youth hockey club to basically streamline your operations through your website. And so they have everything from a really sweet website design, really, really easy to navigate and function. It's got registration for everything from big picture your entire season to little things like drop-ins and clinics. It's got a club scheduler, 5-star communication app, financial tools and reporting, volunteer and facility management. Like, it basically is an absolute cheat code to run your youth hockey club and make it look really, really easy and feel really, really easy with everything being so digital nowadays. It's kind of like a rival to Sports Engine, and everybody that I know that's kind of moving over to Crossbar is very, very happy that they've done that. And so they've done a phenomenal job. Go to crossbar.org today and check them out. Lastly, really, really, really want to thank you guys as a group of listeners. We love you so much. We continue to grind this baby out every week. And it's getting into Vex's go time season right now. So every time that I ask vets what's going on for the next 4 to 5 months, it's going to be like, oh my God, I have no time for anything in my life. So many things going on. And it's your first season in season for you with a baby. So,
yeah, buddy. But you know what's really,
baby.
You know what's so exciting? At my new headquarters, I actually have an office, like a real grown-up office. And so I'll have like a couch in there, and I can have like my daughter's stuff, so my wife and daughter can come up and visit me during the day. Just really, 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 that's one of the most exciting things about this whole space. Yeah,
little businessman, family man. There we go.
Let's go.
But thank you guys. Thank you everybody for continuing to support our podcast. Our why, our mission is to create a more positive hockey world, have a positive impact. And if you think that we are doing that and you think our perspective can be used by other people that please, share us with your friends groups. And if you can interact with us via your podcast app, whether that be Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, we're everywhere. Just shoot us a rating and a review. It goes a long way to that algorithm to get us into some more ears so we can continue to make that positive impact on the hockey world. So if you can do that for us, that would be great. And guys, this is just a phenomenal episode with one of the smartest hockey people in the world, 7-time Stanley Cup winning coach. So without further ado, here we go with Barry Smith.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
With Car Guru's Discover, you can skip the filters and describe what you're looking for in your own words. Simply type what you want, and Car Guru's Discover instantly surfaces real listings that match your exact needs. It's no wonder Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.com. cargurus.com.
All right. We are so excited to have here today on this episode of the podcast in my house in Chicago here. We got Barry Smith. Barry, how are we doing today?
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Toph.
Yeah. So we got the chance to hang out last night with some youth coaches here in Chicago. And, you're traveling all around the world right now, working with organizations from, the pro level all the way down to the youth levels. And how much fun has that been to be able to give back to the game here and just provide your knowledge and experience with so many different people?
Yeah, I have to say, for my last 2 seasons here, having a chance to get around and work with the different groups we've had in North America and also, as you said, in Europe, it's been really fun and enlightening for me because being in the pro game for so long, you don't really understand the amateur game or what's going on down below you.
Yeah.
And, they're producing the players for us. We're not producing players. We're just taking the best. So in essence, if we can help the younger coaches and the younger players become better hockey players, we're helping everybody.
Yeah, I love it. And getting the chance to see in action, working with the coaches and the players has been so valuable for me too, getting to learn from you. So when you talk about just player development and you're talking about like the specific things that players need to kind of ascend to different levels, if they have dreams of playing at the higher levels of hockey, what are some of the things that you're seeing that you think some of these coaches should be preaching a lot at the youth levels that can help them to develop those players?
Yeah, well, when you go to the different groups, you can tell right away which organizations or teams have a little bit more discipline, the intensity of practice. It's not just because they had better skills. It's how the practice is run. It's the attention span of the players who are you're working with, how they handle among themselves and so forth. So you can almost see an inner relationship between the team and coaches as you go along. And then secondly, I don't ask them to do their best drills or practice. I come in, and my job for them is to try to give them new things that can add to their drills and add to their practice regimentations. And therefore, I try to give them some ideas of what is the game today? How do we replicate the game in practice? And the purpose of our practices is of course, to have better game performance. So if we want to improve game performance individually and collectively, then we have to have a better practice regimentation or progressions. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when you talk about today's game, some of the things that you've talked a lot about and some of the things that I've learned from you talk about races and battles and how important that is. And you talk about transition and how you can even teach hockey sense and teach development through those things. And I want to get into the practice progression stuff too, because I think that's really important. But in today's game with those things, can you talk a little bit first about just races and battles, how important that is and how important of an aspect that is for our practices?
Well, the game has been changing. It's a faster game today. The coaches are those who dictate how the game is played. If you let the players play, they would play a totally different game than's being played out there.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the long passes, touch, tip, go, forecheck. You'd want to have possession. You'd come back, regroups, try to make plays because that's what players really enjoy. But the coaches have asked to play fast. They want to play north as fast as they can, get it out, get it in. And it's become sort of a scattered game. And so we have to understand that 70% of the game today is played along the boards because why? It's used to get by somebody. It's not a turnover. I'm going to use indirect passes. It's a safe play. I can keep the puck going ahead. And then conversely, we have to go back and retrieve pucks, which are on the boards as well. So the more board play we have and understanding how to use, both forehand, backhand, quick turns, cover the puck, second quick, all the things that happen with battles, our team is going to improve.
Yeah, and one of the things you talk about is just how much of the game is on your stick as a team, how much is on the other team, and then how much is, just a race or a battle 50-50, or maybe not even 50-50, but some sort of race or battle. And when you first talked about that, I was like, wow, that's a lot. So can you give those percentages and how that relates to it?
It's not exact, but it's close. So basically you have three different moments in a game.
Yeah. And
it doesn't matter which side of the ocean or what age group it is. There's three moments. I'll just say moment one, or A, is my team has possession. Either I have it, one of my teammates have it, but our team has possession of the puck. Moment B, or two, would be the opposition has full control of the puck, and we're playing defense against them. We're trying to get the puck back in a pressure situation. So those are 2 moments. And then moment 3 is I don't have the puck, they don't have possession. So in essence, there's no possession at all, and that's when the race comes in to see who's going to get possession or who's going to pressure. So that is about 50% of the game. 25% is I have it. Approximately 25% the opponent has it. So what is the biggest moment of the game? No possession.
Yeah, and how I've seen you in action, so I'll ask you the question here. Like when it comes to the understanding of a game, when it comes to the success of your team in a game, as it relates to these races and battles, and how important they are to everything that goes on. What are some things that you focus on in your practices as it relates to these races and battles? Not even necessarily with the players who are going to battle for the puck, but the next support and the next wave, either offensively and defensively?
Well, when I was doing some player development, it was for the pro game. the players are a little bit older. They might be 19 at the youngest, up to 23, 24 sometimes. They're still developing,
Yeah.
or in the American League, whatever. And you took a look at these players, and they've been playing hockey for a long time. And they're pretty much wired mentally of how they want to play the game. It's difficult to change a player that age to change it, to play from an offense to completely defense, or a guy who's only defense to completely offense. It's difficult.
Yeah.
So we found that situations, we could emulate a lot of situations on the ice in practice, and by emulating that situation over and over again, the player would be able to handle that, get a good read, and understand, what is my job.
Yeah.
So that's when the read and react came in, and it's trying to help the hockey sense or hockey IQ in that situation, and that would be who's first on the puck. If I'm not first, what is my first player, what does his race look like versus the opponent? Is he going to win the race? Is he going to lose the race? Is it going to be contact where I can come in to be second quick? So I have to read the person in front of me, and then the person who's third, because you usually want to have a triangle or triad.
Yeah.
The third player has to read 1, race, 2, where am I, and 3, now he has to go opposite me to make sure we can have a triangulation. So in essence, there's a couple reads. The guy who doesn't read is the guy who goes first. So it's easy to say, boy, he's on the puck, he's doing really well because he's first, or he's a great retriever, but when they're second, does he make the right read? That's crucial.
Yeah.
And if he's third, does he make the right read as well? So we can improve by having 3 players in different situations happen all over the ice, and the more often we do that, the more habitual it becomes.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Automatic.
Well, let's talk about just the race in general first, because some of the clips that you love to use with some of the younger coaches is with Crosby and how good he is in those initial races as that F1, let's call it. What are some of the things that he does really, really well that the coaches that are listening to this or the players that are listening to this can help them to win some of these 50-50, maybe a little bit more lopsided battles as they're going to race for the puck?
I think what I'll start with Topher first is, let's go back to age groups, because we have a checking age in the United States, and of course Canada has their own, and that is, 13 years old, you're allowed to have checking. But in essence, there's contact at all ages, all parts of the game, there's contact. The checking is a different verb than basically banging somebody trying to win a race or get in front of, okay? Yeah. So I think we have to start races early on, and I have to be able to handle weight. So if there's somebody leaning on my shoulder, or I get inside on somebody, I have to be able to balance myself so I can continue on to the puck and handle that weight. And conversely, if somebody gets in front of me, can I get on top of him, or can I handle him or push him off the puck by using my body weight? So once you start having these battles at younger ages, it becomes unconscious. It becomes, it just happens. You don't even think about it. I go in, I put my inside shoulder against yours, I try to get my inside leg inside yours, and I try to hold you off in the race. And that's a 50-50.
Yeah.
And if it's a 60-40 where you're ahead of me, I'm going to come in and try to pin you as best I can, take your stick for sure, stick and puck, try to separate your legs with my legs and try to hold you for a second man to come in, or you can't move, called a pin.
Yeah. And
then the second guy who's on either team has to read, there's going to be contact. So let's say it's a red puck, contact, flashing light, red light. So when there's contact, now the second player is allowed to go in because he can help fish the puck, or the person who's battling on my team can push it out from it. So now I have a chance to have possession as the next man in. And the third guy has to read it as well.
Yeah.
So you have these contact points all over the ice. The players don't even think about it. And we try to have them start in a low position on their knees so the stick isn't over the top of the shoulders or over the helmet. Everything's down low. Come in. You don't need more than 5 steps in a race. And you get used to either getting inside position, you're second, and then battle it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about, because I've seen it resonate with a lot of youth coaches when you use this analogy, the red puck, yellow puck, and green puck, as it relates to kind of these races and then the support to that race. And I know it's probably easiest with retrievals. So can you talk a little bit about that and expand on it?
Yeah. So you have constant retrievals and you have constant pressure.
Yep.
Because remember, 50% of the game is no possession. So let's say I'm in front of the opposition. So I have either 2 or 3 steps on the opposition, and I'm going to retrieve the puck. And if that player who's chasing me gets close to me where there's going to be contact, it's called red. Okay, red alert, all hands on deck. And that means there's going to be contact. So if I'm a left defenseman and I'm going into the left corner to get a puck, I'm going to be contacted by the opposition. My defensive partner can't go behind the net for a D-to-D pass. He can't just wander off. He's got to go near post, and maybe he has to come in second to help out.
Yeah.
Because I might lose the puck in that battle. And the first forward back, he can't wait on top of the circle for, okay, give it to me in a tape-to-tape pass, because I can't turn. I'm going to be hit. So then he has to come down off my back. Does he go in to help out or just see where the puck squirts to be helpful there? And the winger can't wait up on top by the blue line saying, I want it up here, because there's no chance to move it that far. So red means everybody has to get down low in battle positions.
Yeah, that's great. And then how about yellow puck?
Yellow puck would mean there's more spacing between me as a retriever versus the opponent who's pressuring or forechecking. Mm-hmm. And now, because there's more distance, I have more time. I can turn and make a pass. So now my D partner can release and go behind the net because I can go D to D to him easily. My center, whoever comes back first, he can be up higher because I can turn and make a pass. The winger can be on top of the face-off circle because now I might be able to make a direct pass or have time to move it. So now the spacing is greater away from me on a yellow puck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then green puck is we got all the time and space in the world.
Exactly. Stop behind the net. Everybody can swing. There's no pressure whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like a line change or whatever else.
Yeah. What do you see? Because we get a lot of questions from coaches about D retrievals. When guys or girls are going back to get the puck, what do you think is, or what are you looking for? What are you trying to develop in some of these defensemen as they're going back to get the puck and as they're going back to support the puck? Because as you've said kind of through here, like it's not just about the player going to get the puck. The player without the puck's probably even more important, right?
Correct.
So what are some things that you're teaching? What are some things that you're looking for that these coaches can use with their players?
I think what you can do is you can maybe start out at the younger age with no pressure whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to make it game realistic and really help the player, just have your second defenseman. If I'm going first and you're second, okay? I'm going back to get a puck wherever you place it, behind the goal line, in the corner, whatever it is. And as I go back, you as a second defenseman take my right shoulder. So you're coming down on my right shoulder as I go back. So now I don't turn to the right because if I run into you, I understand that I feel pressure and I turn to the left. The next time you pressure my other shoulder, and I feel it, I sense it, and I can turn the other way. So by practicing pressure in a game, there's no panic. Mm-hmm. I've been doing it all week. Mm-hmm. And then I understand, I can sense it, I have to look. So the better players, they just don't have vision, they have a feel. That they can sense where the players are around them and where they're at.
Yeah, and you talked about that last night with some of the Chicago coaches here too, about how, video is a great tool. It's a great tool to help with development. It's a great tool to teach, but actually having them getting out there and get the reps is incredibly important for that feel. And so can you talk a little bit about that and just the whole practice to game transfer? Because what we see a lot in youth hockey right now is just, it's a lot of almost like mindless skill work. We're going around cones and we got a lot of really skilled hockey players, but not necessarily smart hockey players. So can you talk a little bit about just what you're saying with the feel and the practice to game transfer of things that coaches should be aware of and working on and thinking about as they're putting their practices together to make sure that the things they're practicing in the practice, I can't say practice more times in one sentence, I think, but that will transfer into the games.
Yeah. We have some different philosophies, especially in North America, more so than anywhere else. And we have a lot of skill coaches and skill clinics and skill practices, which is great for an individual to be able to improve his skill toolbox so that he can do certain things. But the problem we have is it's individual. I'm not passing to somebody. I'm not receiving a pass. I'm not reading off somebody. I'm not chasing somebody. I'm just going around different innate objects on the ice, and they're innate. They're not moving. They're not poke checking you. They're not making you go right or left. You see them, and you just keep going around them. So it's good for a starter, but you have to go from there to actual replication of a game. So if something's on the ice, it's going to be moving at me or chasing me or angling me, and I have to get used to that. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, because hockey is played with 5 players normally, 5-on-5, then I have to be able to use my teammates. So if I don't know how to receive a pass, give a pass, know when to pass, or get open for a puck, what good am I? I don't care if I go around all the pylons in the world. I can't play because I can't help my teammates.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to do skills you need, but you have to play collectively with other players.
Yeah. And, for all the teams that you've coached, we were just talking about this on the car ride over here, like how important passing is and playing like a team. You've been a part of 7 Stanley Cup winning teams. Is that a huge part of, number one, obviously being able to win hockey games, but number two, in developing hockey sense and developing game awareness with the players, is just the focus and the heavy reps on making sure you're doing things with other players and putting them in situations that they'll see in the games?
Well, the analogy's always been the puck moves faster than any person can skate.
Yeah.
Okay, so automatically the puck can move faster than any player on the ice can skate. So the quicker I can move the puck, the opposition cannot follow that pass because they can't skate as fast as my pass.
Yeah.
And by understanding who is possibly open or even changing from one side of the ice to the other, you're going to have more room because there's 3 players on this side and now I've passed to an open area. Or even have indirect passing, which means I'm placing the puck knowing that my own player is going to win that race because I put in a position where he should win the race. So I'm keeping possession. So if I can improve that 25% to make it 30% or maybe 35 possession, I don't play defense as much.
Yeah.
And I don't have to chase as many pucks.
Yeah. Best way to play defense is to have the puck.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you had the opportunity, just kind of going along with that, to coach in Detroit with the Russian 5. What was that experience like, watching those guys, learning from those guys when they came over and I would say kind of revolutionize a little bit of the way that we played over here in North America when you were winning Stanley Cups in Detroit? What was it like with Fedorov and Fetisov and Konstantinov and Kozlov and who's the other guy I'm missing? I can't I don't know, the other Russian guy. What was it like being able to work with them with some of the things that we're talking? Larry, oh my God, I can't believe I've.
Okay, so
yeah, that's a big one.
So they had played as 5-man units in Russia forever.
Yep.
And even when they made a line change, you changed the defense as well. So it was a 5-man unit would change for a 5-man unit. In North America, we're more forwards change and maybe 2 defensemen would change in between, but not the same defense behind the forwards.
Yep.
Okay. So Fetisov was the one who came up with the idea of let's try to put this together. And God bless Scotty Bowman, because he was always open to try new things. He was very innovative, even at the end of his coaching, still innovative, trying to do different things. And so he thought it'd be a good idea. We thought it'd be a good idea, but we weren't quite sure how it was going to work, because in essence, you had, for forwards, okay, Kozlov was a left winger, but you had Sergei Fedorov as a center, you had Igor Larionov as a center, so who's going to play right side? And then in the defense, Fetisov's a left defenseman and Konstantinov is a right defenseman. So it was like, who changes for who for centers? Because the next line has to know who to take.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a learning curve for us. And then when they went out there on the ice and started playing early on, I remember Scotty coming down and saying, "What the hell are they doing?" And I said, "God, I don't really know, but it looks pretty good, doesn't it?" Because they had the regroups. They wanted to handle the puck. They were artistic with the puck. They really took, how would I say, responsibility to make sure that they were showing the level of play they could play versus the other NHL teams. Mm. And it was really transitional, because the regroups they had, the ability to handle pucks, the right side was open an awful lot for Konstantinov to come down and play almost as a forward. 2 centermen playing sometimes, one high, one low to help. I mean, it was just really amazing to watch.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, and how did that rub off on some of the other players? Because you had some really good North American players too. You talk about the Yzermans and the Shanahans and stuff like that. How did them coming in kind of change the way maybe they played or the way that they thought about the game?
I think they felt more comfortable doing some different things with the puck as well.
Yeah.
I mean, because this group was doing it. And I'm not saying those players that we had from North America didn't have the skills. They had the skills. They just didn't do it because they hadn't been asked to do it. So by replication of watching them, the whole team became a better puck possession team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I want to talk a little bit more about that team too, because one of the things that I've heard you talk about, and I think this is really relevant for youth hockey too, is that your top players are obviously very important, but your bottom players are extremely important to having success as a team. And think about the grind line in Detroit with Maltby and Draper and McCarty, and some of the other players that you had that weren't the superstars. How important were those guys to winning the Stanley Cups that you had in the different spots that you were at? And how would you encourage coaches to maybe handle the guys that maybe don't get as much playing time, or the media or the fanfare?
Well, I would say to you that the Detroit teams, there was excellent skills all the way through, but my thought was we were successful because the bottom, there's no bottom, but say the third line, fourth line, and 5-6 defensemen possibly were better than the oppositions, and they could play a better game than the opposition. So we might not win with our first two lines. They might just play each other off, but we could win with the bottom. Mm-hmm. So the most important part of a winning team is that everybody has a role. They play the role exceptionally well, and they play it better than the opposition. So we were successful. First of all, Scotty was an amazing coach and knew who to put on the ice at the right times. But I would say to you that we were successful because all of our players were able to play at a high level, and they were rewarded for it because we played 4 lines. It wasn't like guys you can only play 6 minutes. No, they played.
Yeah. And I'll never forget watching Game 4 in Detroit when Darren McCarty went through Yanni Nienema and scored that goal, and the place went absolutely crazy. And that was the first cup there in Detroit in years. What was that moment like for the team, watching a guy like McCarty who sacrificed his body, played a different role?
It was sort of fun in practice because, you had different pay grades on a team, and every team has that.
Yeah.
So when those guys would go out and we have a power play practice, and that's hard to do in practice, the power play obviously, but we'd have it, and these guys would come back to the bench and say, let's just take a look here. We shut down 6 mil, 4 mil, that's 10, another 3, 13. We just shut down 25 mil. What are we making? So they had some fun about, hey, guys, we can shut these guys down. We're getting paid half of what they get paid. So there was fun in practice. But what was the question?
Just that moment with McCarty and scoring that goal to go up against Philadelphia.
McCarty had gone to Sweden to work during the summer on some skills.
Okay.
And he was with a team called AIK, which is in Stockholm, and one of our Swedish scouts helped set it up, Håkan Andersson.
Yeah.
And he went in and he had a chance to work with some skills, with the Swedish players, because they're not going to fight and bang each other around. They had skills. So he had a good summer, and he came back and he had a little bit better skill set. And maybe he wasn't so fearful of trying something new. It was a hell of a move.
Yeah, that was incredible. I remember watching that as a Wings fan and just going absolutely crazy in my parents' bedroom when we were watching the game. But you mentioned Scotty Bowman and one of his gifts of kind of line matchups, knowing when to put certain players on the ice at different times. Is there any stories or anything that sticks out about him and just game management from a bench perspective?
Well, there's a lot of stories, but I'm not going to get into them. But I would say for Scotty's unbelievable ability to understand what a player can do at the right moment.
Sure.
It was uncanny how he ran the bench. He had certain fundamentals that I'd let him talk about that he always made sure the team was exceptional at, And, I think the players just, if you were a good hockey player, he didn't knock on your door much because he just let you play. He knew when to put you on the ice. Our matchups were clean. Our line changes were clean, it was just, and he was also innovative. He wasn't afraid to try something new. He wasn't stuck with, you have to. And it was just a great learning experience for a mentor, for all of us.
Yeah, to have that success for such an extended period of time, you got to be open to doing some new things.
Absolutely.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret. With Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
I want to shift a little bit to, because you've been a part of so many different Stanley Cup teams and been around so many amazing players. So we talked about the Detroit team a little bit, but getting the chance to coach Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr, Ron Francis, some of those Pittsburgh teams. What was your experience like getting the opportunity to get into Pittsburgh there in their heyday in the early 90s and working with some of those guys?
Well, first of all, when I came into Pittsburgh, it was a dream come true to work with Bob Johnson.
Yeah.
And I knew Bob a little bit from the college coaching situation, and he was at Wisconsin when I was coaching in the lower level.
Yeah.
And he was always open to talking to anybody. He just loved to talk the game, loved the power play. He was very passionate about the game, very optimistic. So when I had a chance to work with him in Pittsburgh, it was a dream come true to have, listen to this guy talk about the power play, how you do certain things. Like, he was another mentor, which was tremendous. But his outlook on the players, his outlook on the game was so positive, it was so optimistic, that you couldn't not smile going to practice because he was pumped up. He was ready to go. He had his practice skates on. He was all ready to rock and roll and go around and skate around. Loved the power play. So I think the guys really appreciated, his look of the game and how he treated them. And we got some players towards the trade deadline, which made a huge difference. You mentioned Ron Francis, Alf Samuelson. So those guys came in. Mario was an unbelievable player. I mean, here's a guy who played with some back problems. He had, Hodgkiss later on the second year. I mean, he was an amazing player. So all together, all those guys, they played tremendous and won their first cup.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How hard is it? Because you coached multiple teams that did go back to back. How hard is it to repeat? And what's kind of like the mindset that you need to have to maybe not get complacent after winning a cup, because very few teams have done it since. Yeah. How difficult is that?
It's hard because you don't realize they say the Stanley Cup is the most difficult championship or trophy to win.
Yeah.
Because of the duration, the number of games you have to play, and the longevity of playoffs, physicality, mentally, whatever. So that is an unbelievable grind to go all the way through. You might play as many as 28 games in the playoffs with travel.
Whew.
So you're playing these games. It's mentally, physically challenging. And when you win it, the elation is so great. The problem why most teams don't come back, they're not sure they want to pay the price again for the next year. Or sometimes they think they're better than they were, right? We're good. We won last year. We don't have to do this now.
Yeah.
And you don't do the little fundamental things that got you there, the grunt work and the places that you have to play well in because you're great. You won a Stanley Cup. So that's the hardship for players and coaches to get them back to that same level. Probably that's why. And people know they use you for an example. You're put up on a pedestal, and they say, we're going to go after these guys. So everybody goes after you. When they play you, it's their best game.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. Jaromir Jagr, he's played until what? I think he's still playing in some juncture in Czechia. What was it like to have him? Because he came in, I know, as a young kid, didn't speak the language very well, and then you hear the stories about him and his work ethic and opening the lights, opening up the arena, getting people to do some extra work and stuff like that. You had him as a young player. What was it like coaching a young Jaromir Jagr?
Well, he came in, I think he was still 18 possibly, just got drafted first round.
Yeah.
And he came in with his mom, and he was supposed to have taken some English lessons, but obviously he didn't. Language was tough. And everything was brand new to this guy. Everything was brand new. The city was brand new. The practice was brand new. The language was difficult. He had to go through a lot of things. We did not have another Czech player on the team. So I know that the family or his mom, there was a Czech family that was either living close by or whatever from Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. But he'd come to the rink. He was a big, young player, good size, strong. He had certain techniques, the way he would stick handle or handle the puck. So he'd go through practice and sort of watch and see how everybody practices. And then afterwards, it was either, Rick Keogh or myself or Ricky Patterson, whatever, one of the assistant coaches, usually, one of us, had to stay on the ice as long as a player was on the ice. So in the pro game, you have a lot of extra ice time. So some players would stay on, and we could work both ends, and the assistant coaches would have different players, and then all of a sudden they get off the ice, somebody else got off the ice. Well, I noticed that Jaromir would stay on forever, and I couldn't figure out why. So I look at the clock sometimes, and it's 45 minutes after practice, and he still wants to do one-on-one drills out of the corners, or he wants to shoot or do something, and either Keogh or myself would be out there with him, and you look up and say, how long is this going to go? And I can't ask him because he can't answer me. So we look at the clock, and then I'd sort of look, and now the players are starting to leave the locker room because they're already done showering. And he would sort of wait until that locker room was almost vacant. Then he got off the ice, and then he'd go shower because you didn't have to have all the language and people around him talking. And that's maybe what started him about the practices. But God bless him. I know he had keys to the rinks, and he'd go down at night and practice whatever he did, and he just loved to skate, just loved the game. And that's why he became so good. The passion was there, the drive.
Yeah. Let's keep going on that one, because it's something that I've been really big talking on in the youth hockey sphere a lot, is like, I've been fortunate. You've obviously been around a lot of elite players with what you've done. I've been fortunate to play with and coach some players that have gone on to that level. And if there was one consistency with most of them, it was they love the game. Yep. They absolutely love to play hockey. And so what are some things that we can be doing at the younger ages to help try to instill some of that love for the game that you're seeing at the highest levels with some of these guys who love to work at it and love the grind and embrace it? What are some things that you feel like we can be doing a better job of there?
Well, the hardship is, especially in North America, we're playing too many games. Mm-hmm. Okay, so by playing games, the number of touches you have is limited. And it's great to have a game because it's competition against somebody else that you can sort of prove yourself, but you do need practice. So the ratio of practice to games, for me, has to improve if you really want to improve players. Mm-hmm. Okay, next, I think you have to really reward your players even if you lose, because the game of hockey is a strange game. It's almost like there's a hockey god. You can outplay somebody completely and still lose a game. So should you be upset about that if you lose a game? No, you should be positive because you played so well. Mm-hmm. So if a player is fearful of losing, they'll never play well because they're always handicapped about, I can't put it all out there, or I can't do this, I might lose. No, if you can play the game and play as best you can and get rewarded for it, especially at the younger ages, guys, who cares if you won 50 games or 30 games as long as the players got better and the team gets better?
Yeah.
It's the enjoyment of playing. You can't fear a loss and all of a sudden now your head's down, you're afraid to go see your parents. That's horseshit. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that fear is one of the things that can, suck the love out of the game out of a lot of kids, particularly when you talk about just, the fear of making mistakes. And I know we've had different discussions in the past about, kind of the loss of the unstructured play, the loss of playing on the pond, and how that's kind of hurt the game from a hockey sense standpoint, but also from a love from the game standpoint. Can you talk a little bit to how we can be better, or how we should be approaching, mistakes in the youth side of the game as the kids are developing their skills, they're developing their hockey sense, they're developing their love for the game?
I think I showed you the stats yesterday from the NHL about turnovers per team per period. Okay? Yep. And that is the highest level of players we have. And they're averaging 7 turnovers per period. That's the highest level.
Yeah.
So that's 7 mistakes possibly. Somebody took a puck off you, you gave it away, you couldn't contain it, but that's a turnover. So you're going to have turnovers at the younger age because if our best are having that, obviously your lower end player is going to have more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you have to teach them trying to have better puck possession if you have it, a better pass or puck management. But at the same time, they're going to make mistakes. The best players in the world make mistakes. So you can't punish a kid and sit him down and he can't play the rest of the period or the rest of the game because he's made a mistake.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay off.
Yeah, for sure. It goes back to kind of what you were saying too about the focus on the winning so much at the youngest of levels. And you're seeing coaches nowadays. I go and watch some youth hockey games and kid makes a mistake and, they're sitting for a period. and because they're feeling the pressure from the organization or the parents that, hey, we gotta win to get our ranking up so that more players will come and play for us. And it's just this kind of like circle of negativity almost that counters a lot of what development actually is.
Well, that's why the newest project I have right now is transition.
Yeah.
And because there's turnovers, and I'm doing this research and trying to work on it, I mean, you're going to have a turnover. It's going to happen. It's going to happen every period. And you don't know who is going to have it, but somebody's going to have it. So if you can prepare your team both defensively to help play defense after a turnover, and conversely, if you can help your offense when they steal a puck, have a quick strike situation to score a goal, you're going to be successful. So, okay, we're going to have turnovers, but let's try to play this way to help each other so that when the puck is turned over, we have structure. We have ice balance. Mm-hmm. And then offensively, if we steal a puck, we have an idea we're going to make our first pass or our first movement. So you can play off those moments and improve your team.
Can you talk a little bit about just the importance, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but especially in transition, just the mindset of working away from the puck and how quickly you can make that decision once you see there's a turnover, once you see an opportunity for transition, both offensively and defensively, and how important that is for development and the success of a team too.
Well, I think for the coaches out there, and these are the transition drills that we're trying to give the different teams and different organizations. And that is, okay, everybody has basic practices, and some teams and some organizations practice better than others based on intensity or skill sets or what they can do or compete. But it's still the same game. So if you and I go to the corner, I'm a defenseman and you're a forward, and I'm in the D zone, you're in the offensive zone, and we go into battle, you do win the battle, and you pass up to your defenseman on the point. And because you're more aware, or habitually you've done it in practice, that you jump off the boards immediately and go to the inside to the net. I have not been taught to worry about, I've been taught to play the one-on-one, but nobody has reinforced me to say, oh, get off that board quick and make sure I beat you to the inside. So I go in, play you hard, you win the puck, you pass back, and you go to the net, and you score a goal. That's a race.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a race that if you do a drills one-on-one, continue it. And conversely, you win the puck, pass back to the blue line, and go to the net and beat me. Or I win the puck, I can pass to somebody, wherever you set up, and then I beat you out of the corner to get the puck back and beat you over the blue line. I won. Mm-hmm. So you add both sides of it because that's the game.
Yeah.
That's transition.
Yeah, I love that. It's funny. I think I've told you about my Russian coach I had growing up. I had him for 3 years, had a really big impact on my hockey development. And, coaches have different pet peeves, right? People who don't back check, people who have bad body language, all this kind of stuff. And his biggest pet peeve for us is once you make a play with the puck, if you stood still, he was blowing it dead. And somersault. So especially at the beginning of the year, so many somersaults for all of us at the beginning. And, but it was such a great learning experience for us. Learning how to, once we move that puck, how important it was to beat that player up ice or to get to that spot of support. And that drill that we did yesterday with the kids with Team Illinois, just the first drill was so amazing for that. It's so simple, but it's a race to the puck along the boards, and then whoever wins that race passes it to player 3. But that's not it. It's not just about the race. It's once you make that pass, now you got to go and get open, and there's a second pass with it too.
So the transitional practice means there's a continuum.
Yeah.
It's not over because somebody wins the puck, because the game situation is continuum. So if we can do that in practice with repetitions, it comes without even, it's unconscious, done unconsciously in the game.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do. And the same thing for ice balance. We don't think about it, but if you're a right defenseman and you go back and pass it to me as a left defenseman behind the net, and you're outside the dots, and you pass to me wide to the corner, well, the middle of the ice is wide open. There's going to be a turnover someplace. But if you don't hustle and you're not tethered to me so that we can try to keep the same distance between each other, so if you pass to me and don't follow, you stand still, we've left the whole net open. And then you'll never become a top player, because if you do that at the next level, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to follow your pass, get inside position, and be tethered to me. So if I'm outside the dots, you're inside, you're in the middle. If you go outside the dots, you pull me, I'm in the middle of the ice. And conversely with forwards.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. So getting the chance to do some video with you and learn from you and what you're seeing, so much of it is what happens without the puck. So much of it is what happens without the puck. And I think as coaches,
but it has to be over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because this time there wasn't a turnover, so I stayed wide. No, get inside, because there is going to be one. There is going to be one.
Yeah.
So just do it automatically, and your team is structured better.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Well, as a Chicago guy, I would be remiss. I know there's a lot of Chicago people that listen to the podcast. If I didn't ask you about the years that you had with the Blackhawks, won a couple cups here with the Blackhawks too. I know you think the world of a lot of people within the organization. What was it like, getting the chance to be around specifically a Taves and a Kane and a Keith? Those are the guys that really started the rebuild. Those are the guys that kind of started to stir the drink and things like that. Seeing what you saw with Lemieux and Jágr and Coffey and those guys in Pittsburgh, and then seeing what you saw with Yzerman and Lidstrom and Fedorov and those guys in Detroit, and then getting the opportunity to have this young core that was kind of going through it in Chicago. What was that like?
I missed the first year. The first year they won the cup. So I came into the organization, and I would say to you there was a lot of similarities with that Chicago teams, the two teams that I saw that won, versus the Red Wings, because they were strong from top to bottom. They had good leadership. The goaltending was strong. They played as a team. Guys would step in and play big roles for them at the bottom of the lineup. The team was really together. I think Joel and the coaching staff did a really good job of didn't over try to do X and O's. They let the guys play. And I think they responded to it. They played off each other. They were an extremely tight team. But from top to bottom, their strength was they didn't have a weakness. And I think guys would play up, because when your best players work as hard as they do, the lower-end guys have to work harder. So I really think the analogy was pretty close to Detroit.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, you mentioned, we talked about this, like, if your best players are your hardest workers, you're probably going to have some success if you have talent.
Correct.
If it's the other way around.
Players accept the roles.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Sure. Can you talk a little bit about Taves with that? Because he, and even Kane and Keith too. It's funny.
Seabrook, you have more guys. Hossa. I mean, I could go through so many names for you.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, Hossa even too. Like, he's the guy that a lot of people in Chicago are like, once he got on board, that was it. That's when things really started to change. But can you just talk about, especially, you've coached so many great players, but like that work ethic from those top guys and how important that was for everybody else, for the team culture and the development of the bond of the group and everything. What was it like being a coach and having that in the locker room?
Well, there's a pride too that they have.
Yeah.
And the pride is we do things better than the opposition. There's internal pride. And I think that when you have a good hockey team, I don't care if it's at the lower level or upper level, when you have a good team, which means team, as in everybody, players come to the rink early, they like to be around each other, they stay late, and they enjoy each other's company. When you have a half-assed team, they come late and they leave early because they don't enjoy each other's company. There's no respect for each other. So that respect can make you work harder because you want to make sure that you're acknowledged by the rest of the group that you're part of them. You're willing to pay the price. And then secondly, it's contagious.
Yeah, big time. How much thought did you guys, we're talking about the pro level here, which is it's going to be a little bit different from the youth level, but How intentional were you in creating that kind of environment? I'm sure some of it has to do with, the leadership in the room and the players kind of creating that environment, but were there some of the things that you guys did as a coaching staff or in management to help kind of create that culture where the guys did love each other, where they enjoyed coming to the rink?
Well, if it was easy, every team would do it.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, and you have to have the right players, and you have to have the players who are willing to accept different possibilities. I can't play power play now because this guy's playing, so I have to do penalty kill or whatever. And I think as a coach, and Scotty was good with this, as Bob Johnson was, and I'm sure Joel was, they don't keep tapping the best players, and then shitting on the rest of the guys down below. They take care of the whole team. The whole team is rewarded and reinforced. So if you're a coach, I can't let my best players get away with just whatever they want to do because, they help us win games. No, they're part of the group. So there's a group structure, there's group discipline, and everybody's held to it. And when people are all held to it, that's when you have a group, a strong group. If people are allowed to step outside the bounds of whatever you set up because they're my favorite guy, it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, yeah. And that just rubs off on everybody, right? Like when everybody feels like they're a part of the group, and it's the we over the me.
And all those youth coaches, you got to reinforce your lower end players because you've got to make them better if your team's going to be better.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, all we do is care about the top guys, and the rest of them are just so. No, take care of them. Some of the top guys don't need you to pat them on the back because they know they're good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Barry, thank you so much for all your time here today, and thanks for coming out to Chicago.
Well, thanks. So for bringing me out, it was fun last night. It's gonna be fun again tonight. So
yeah,
we'll have a good time.
Yeah, for
Appreciate
sure.
It.
If we can hold on to you for a couple more minutes, we'll do a rapid fire 10 questions with you.
Okay.
This will be in our Hockey Think Tank community. If you're not in the community yet, go to community.thehockeythinktank.com and get some awesome content like these 10 questions with Barry and some of the other guests that we've had on and various other things. But Barry, wealth of knowledge, and thank you so much for your time here today.
You're welcome. Yeah, good luck to all you coaches out there too.
Thanks. This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going, but that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out and games left for you to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. NHL and NHL team marks are the property of the NHL and its teams. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.